everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be deck profiling Coalossal VMAX. Now, this is obviously a card that came out actually a while ago, around November, in Vivid Voltage. But I have done some other previous content for Coalossal VMAX on the channel, but I'm actually be doing a deck profile for it here today. It's because there's actually a new way that you can build some new cards you can play in Coalossal VMAX, and I wanted to cover it because I love Coalossal VMAX. I play this deck a ton. So yeah, we're just gonna get into it. This Coalossal VMAX, in case you don't know what it does. For fighting energy, you do 40 damage and you discard the top card of your deck, and if that card is an energy card, you attach it to Coalossal and do an extra 90 damage. So you can do 130 damage for 1 energy, and then there's 3 fighting and a colorless for 240. So it's not a bad card. You can hit with a eruption shot, and then maybe the turn after take a knockout on a VMAX with your GMAX Boulder as well. But the sister going to be playing with Cheryl. Cheryl makes this deck a lot better because you already have access to buff padding and stone fighting energy, which already make you extremely tanky, and he has some other cool combos that you can use as well. So we're just going to get right into it. Starting off, we have 3 of the VMAXs. So 3 Coalossal VMAX, and then 4 Coalossal V. What am I talking about? 4 Coalossal V. You want to be able to get that guy out as soon as you can. So we're playing just a 4-3 line. Usually 4-3 is going to be the best line you can play in your VMAX because you only really need 2 VMAX a game. Maybe you discard one early on, you prize one, something like that. Next, we have 3 copies of Stellar with Shirachi because we are playing a Scuba Net build. We're playing Scuba Nets and some cards that can utilize Scuba Net. And Jirachi is obviously the main Pokemon that can utilize Scuba Net with Stellar Witch. Stellar Witch is how you're going to get going, how you're going to dig for your Cheryl, and stuff like that. Next, we have 2 copies of Rangaroo. Obviously, you're going to need this to put energy in your hand with the top part of your deck. So you can hit energy consistently off of that eruption shot attack. So pretty simple main Pokemon, Jirachi, Ranger, and then Coalossal. And then we also have 1 copy of Mind Report Mewtwo, so we can stack our shells on top of our deck, maybe our boss's orders for game or something like that. And that's our Shrivel, Quick Ball, and so it can be used with Scuba Net. So we just have that with Mewtwo. We actually have 1 copy of Galarian Surfetch'd V. Now this is actually, I think, it's definitely better in the Coalossal VMAX deck with Cheryl than it is previously without Cheryl. Because with Cheryl, sometimes you're not going to have the energy in your hand. So you can switch into Galarian Surfetch'd. You can also save the 2 or 3 Stone Fighting energies you have on your Coalossal, put up your Surfetch'd to move your 3 Stone Fighting energies onto your Surfetch'd. You get this really tanky Surfetch'd, hitting for 200, and then you get to Cheryl your VMAX and heal it. So you give your opponent another threat to go through that is also really, really tanky. The only bad thing is that this guy cannot utilize Cheryl, but I just like the way how this guy can save your energies sometimes. There's also something I would consider actually playing a second copy of it if you really like it. And we have the regular 1 Crobat V and 1 Denny GX. So, moving on to our supporters, we have 4 Research. I'm going to be going a little bit faster here because assuming you guys know a lot about what these cards do. So we have 4 Research, discard cost 7, obviously it's really good. 3 Boss's Orders. Because Boss's Orders, maybe we can, like I said, we can dust up a Dene for game. The Denes and Crobats is usually our win con because we only attack for 1 energy. If we can manage to get that Boss's Orders and an energy, then that's usually going to be a win con because those guys we're able to knock them out so easily. We have 2 copies of Marnie, obviously another very good destruction card, and then 2 copies of Cheryl. Cheryl is such a really good new card from Battle Styles, which lets you heal all damage from each of your evolution Pokemon and play with damage counters, and then discard all energy from the Pokemon you healed in play. Obviously, Coalossal can utilize Cheryl really, really well because it only attacks for 1 energy, a lot like how Rapid Strike Earthshield can utilize Cheryl. So can Coalossal. Coalossal only attacks for 1 energy, and can also has the it can be really tanky, which also makes Cheryl just that much better, being able to buff padding plus 2 Stun Fighting energies to get your Coalossal 400 HP, which is massive. Cheryl can just sometimes like a single Cheryl on a Coalossal with the buff padding and a couple stones can just win you the game because sometimes your opponent will just be that far behind when you Cheryl. Cheryl is such a good card for this deck. We have copy of Phoebe as well to round out the supporters. Now, both Cheryl and Phoebe, they're actually revealed at the same time. When I first saw them, I was like, I was still playing Coalossal a lot because it was the Vid Voltage meta. This is the deck I played the most during the Vid Voltage meta. But Phoebe and Cheryl both made Coalossal a lot better. One of the main things Coalossal struggled with in the Vid Voltage meta was Luke Metal. Luke Metal was an impossible matchup, and I mean impossible. You're only hitting 130. And 130 against a deck that can take 60 less damage from attacks every attack, you're not going to be doing very much. Obviously, people try to counter Luke Metal with things like Mr. Mind GX, but Phoebe, I think, is one of the best ways that you can counter Luke Metal. Because when I first saw this, I was like, okay, this is really, really good with Coalossal against Luke Metal, because it lets your VMAX Boulder go through Samazenta, Samazenta's Dauntless Shield, Full Metal Wall, and what's the name of that? Full Metal Goggles. And not only that, it also lets DKOization. So if one decides not to go the Zamazenta route, then if they go the Zation route, Phoebe can help with that. Just makes that matchup a lot easier because you can just go through the Full Metal Wall, go through the Dauntless Shield, and go through the Metal Goggles to make your VMAX Boulder one shot a lot more. We also have another copy. We have a copy of Energy Recycler as well, which can also help in that. We don't play Energy Cycle specifically for Luke Metal, but it is also a nice way to do that because it is for that matchup, because they're going to be discarding energy with Crushing Hammer. They're going to be discarding energy with Full Metal Wall a lot. And sometimes, not sometimes, usually you're actually going to be running out of energy as well. So Cheryl and Phoebe just make Coalossal VMAX, I think, a whole lot better. Next, of course, we have 4 Quick Balls. Shouldn't really have to explain this. Quick Ball is just such a good card for helping decks set up. And next we have 4 copies of Switch. So we can switch into our Galarian Surfetch V, and so we can spam Stellar Wish in combination with our 4 Scoop Up Nets. So that can also be used for Mewtwo to recycle our Phoebe if we are up against Luke Metal. Next we have 4 copies of Pokemon Communication, not 4 copies, 3 copies of Pokemon Communication. This is the main way we're going to be able to get our VMAX. We also play a copy of Evolution Incense, but both Evolution Incense and Pokemon Communication, are searchable through Jirachi. So they're both going to be really nice ways to get out your VMAX, but Pokemon Communication can also search out your Rangaroos, your Dedenes, stuff like that you might need. Next, we have 2 copies of Buff Padding. Obviously, it's a really, really good combined with Cheryl and some Stone Fighting Energies. Just like 2 Stone Fighting Energy into Buff Padding. You have, I believe, 420 HP, which is huge, and you can threaten discarding all that and healing all your damage, or going to Surfetch and then healing all of your damage. So it's just such a good card combined with Cheryl. And then, as I mentioned, we have a couple one-off cards. We have 1 Evolution Incense for getting out our Coalossal VMAX easier. 1 copy of Tool Scrapper, so we can get rid of our opponent's tools. Just things like big charms or stuff like that. 1 copy of Energy Recycler. As I mentioned, it can help against Luke Metal. Just sometimes we might run out of energy in general, so Energy Recycler can help us put back those basic energies. And we'll have those energies to attack with again. And then 1 copy of Escape Rope. So it's both Escape Rope and Energy Recycler. Energy Recycler is just really good for Cheryl because you're going to be discarding your energy, something you need to get back. But then Escape Rope is also good for, once again, like with Boss's Orders, maybe your opponent has like their active VMAX and then they did on the bench. You could just, Escape Rope for game because you got that 1 energy attack once again. Now going with our energies, we of course have 4 copies of Stone Fighting Energy and then 7 copies of Basic Fighting Energy to round out the list. So yeah, it's going to do it for Coalossal VMAX, Battle Styles Meta Coalossal VMAX. It's definitely not a bad archetype. Cheryl and Phoebe, mainly Cheryl though, makes this deck a lot better. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys liked it, don't forget to leave a like. If you guys want to see more, don't forget to subscribe as I do a whole bunch of Pokemon trading card game deck profiles and Pokemon TCG stuff. Yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.